had to go up to my room, but by the time I got up to my room, I had finished the one slice of pizza, so I had to go back down to get more, and I like dropped my computer and the pizza, and so the pizza was like getting on my computer.
You know what I just realized? Thomas needs like a live stream. Like wherever he goes, a camera crew is following and documenting his every move.
Yeah, I'm sort of disappointed now that I've said all of that it isn't on the podcast.
Hello everyone. Okay, hello everyone. This is the Tootin in the Deep podcast, which is, I think, what we're going with for the name. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Of course. You'll probably already be able to tell from the title. But anyways, my name is Dan. And joined with me is Nick.
Hello.
Tyler.
Konnichiwa.
Brian.
Yo.
And Thomas.
Oh my god.
So, Thomas, can we talk about the balloon you have in your possession?
No. I'm good.
Okay. I heard you got a balloon cat animal. So,
yeah. Actually, I got one balloon cat animal, 2 actual cats.
Ooh. Does the balloon cat use the litter box too, or does that like go outside on the leash?
Yeah, the balloon cat's an outdoor cat only.
That makes sense actually. But then they can fly away, I'm pretty sure.
Well, that's why we have the leash.
Oh yeah, if you don't keep it on a leash.
Oh, that's the leash. Okay, that makes perfect sense actually. So what do we want to talk about today?
Wait, Dan, who's this video brought to you
by?
by?
That's right. Today's video is brought to you by pillows. The thing you sleep with under your head when you go to sleep. Tired of going to bed without a pillow under your face to sleep on? Why don't you give Pillows a try? Pillows is not a company. Pillows is just a item you can buy in the store anytime, anywhere. And we are offering a special discount for today's listeners. If you go to literally any department store, such as a Target, probably not TJ Maxx, definitely Amazon, you can pick up your very own pillow for full retail price. Just simply put in offer code PILLOW at checkout. And that's the sponsor for this week. So, okay, now what are we going to talk about?
Just go to your local grocery store, Amazon.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out. I feel like sometimes you get really good deals on Amazon and sometimes you don't. And one thing I actually need to decide on now is I'm running out of my Prime student membership. So I need to figure out if I actually want Prime or not.
That's something to talk about. Like last August, I wanted to get Amazon Prime for like the student thing discount. Yeah. And I like didn't know how it worked. And I already had I think I already had a regular Amazon account and I wasn't sure how to like tether them together. I decided to do a trial version of Amazon Prime. And apparently it doesn't like notify you in advance when your trial is about to run out.
Oh yeah.
So I accidentally bought Amazon Prime for the regular price. And I remember calling my parents freaking out because I thought it was a monthly fee and not a yearly fee.
It's a yearly fee?
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was monthly.
I need to figure this one out.
No, it's yearly because it was like $128 and I'm like, oh my god, I can't pay this monthly.
Wow.
Oh.
And I realized it was a yearly fee.
What do you get with Amazon?
Worth it for me because I use Amazon Prime like all the fucking time.
What do you get with just free shipping?
I mean it's free 2-day shipping, which is like the biggest thing. And
what
then
if
also
you don't have Prime? I feel like it's still free shipping a lot of the time.
They have like shows too, like Amazon original shows and movies and stuff. The same kind of thing that Netflix started doing when people started taking their shows off Netflix.
Yeah, I've seen the Amazon stuff.
What's the one big Amazon? It is. Seasons 1 through 5, I think, are on Amazon Prime.
It's probably like what's it called?
Nick,
is it The Boys?
Jack Ryan, I thought was
The Boys.
Oh, The
Boys is a thing on Amazon.
Yeah,
it's like their new series. Red Letter Media just did a video about it.
I saw it.
Sounds like a show I would never watch in a million years.
That is exactly what I was thinking, Tyler.
But I'm glad they liked it.
Yeah.
Good Omens is also another big show from this summer. That was on Amazon.
That sounds like the name of a show that's doing well, but we'll never watch.
No, like a bunch of people watch it. It's actually like It's a pretty good show. I've seen like half of it.
Isn't it about the four horsemen of the apocalypse or something like that?
It's about like an angel and a demon that are like.
Oh, is that the movie that got terrible reviews?
It's not a movie. It's a show, and it got really good. It's really good.
Wait, is it called Good Omens or Bad Omens?
Good Omens.
Okay, because I think there's a movie that came out that's called Bad Omens or something like that. That's really.
I think you're right.
This is not a movie.
Well, but there is a movie that came out that's literally.
It's about an angel and a demon that like end up being responsible for starting the apocalypse, and then they screw it up, and they're trying to stop the apocalypse. But they're also like high key gay for each other.
Wait, like actually gay or like?
I haven't seen the second half of the show, but there's a lot of like shipping of the two of them.
Huh.
I haven't seen the second half, so I don't know if it's like canon or not. But at this point in time,
it probably feels kind of weird for me to say this, considering like how into shipping I am with the shows that I like. But I feel like shipping like shows from or like characters from like live action series is kind of weird
because they're like real people.
Yeah.
But you know what I heard? If you do ship them with Amazon Prime, it's free 2 days.
The shipping is guaranteed within 2 days. That is what happens if you ship with Amazon Prime.
This is the power of Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Brian, I don't see anything about Bad Omens.
They're a metalcore band. I saw
movie. All right.
Anyway, speaking of movies, I'm wondering if any of you guys have heard the news about Star Wars.
Which episode 9?
No, that Ewan McGregor signed on to play Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, I did see that.
And I believe I don't know if they've announced it officially, but there are many sources reporting that there is going to be an Obi-Wan Kenobi television series, or like streaming series.
Really?
Yeah, something like that.
That's interesting. I think they were gonna make an Obi-Wan movie and then like canceled it after the 8th movie like got criticized, right?
I think it was Solo mostly that.
Oh, but Solo wasn't necessarily a bad movie. It did bad because Episode 8 did bad, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I actually liked Solo. But...
No, I agree. Solo was the worst thing that happened to Solo was
that it was about Han Solo.
That it came out after Episode 9. I said Episode 8, yeah. I was talking about this with my friend at work, and I said it's funny because like I'd say there's 2 reasons why Solo failed. It's because it's that it came out so soon after Episode 8.
It was like 5 months.
And also it came out so soon after Episode 8. It's like both parts of that sentence are significant.
Was it really like 5 months later?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It was pretty soon.
Pretty sure The Last Jedi was over winter break because I was still working in a movie theater and I had to work that a lot. And then I remember...
Who's landing a plane?
Thomas.
It's not me this time.
But yeah, Star Wars episode... Also, the other thing that was announced or was like part of these like leaks and discussion is that the Rian Johnson trilogy is still happening. That is honestly to me more shocking than the Obi-Wan thing.
Who's Rian Johnson?
Rian Johnson, the guy that filmed Episode 8.
Oh, okay. Do you think he's related to Cave Johnson?
What?
From Portal 2?
Was it Cave Johnson?
Yeah, Cave Johnson here.
It's possible. I mean, they're both villains.
No, Cave Johnson, a villain?
Sort of. I mean, he's kind of like indirectly like the cause of like everything that happens to you.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Man, you know what sucks? They just stopped making Portal. Like, Portal 2 is, in my opinion, one of the best games ever made, and then they just stopped.
I mean, the plus side of that is that they like stopped before the game could get bad.
That's actually a very good point. It ended
Like
on
I think Half-Life basically did the same thing.
Yeah, Half-Life definitely did. If Half-Life were to come out now,
Half-Life's the original series to like do that and just not have a third game.
But see, the thing is, they're all Valve, and what I've heard is that actually it's not at all profitable for Valve to make video games at this point because of how successful Steam is. So they just stopped making video games, and it makes sense to me. Portal, I'm a little bummed about, but Half-Life, I've played the first one. I've played Half-Life 2.
Yeah, the orange box.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I don't think it holds up. Probably an unpopular opinion, but
no, I agree with you. If you didn't play it like when like Half-Life 1 was out, then you probably don't like it that much.
Yeah, and it's like you compare that to even older game, like compare it to Halo Combat Evolved. I won't even say Halo 3 or anything. I don't think it holds up at all. Like I think
definitely not visually.
Right.
I mean more from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah. I'm talking visuals and gameplay.
I can't speak to gameplay because I've never played it. I've just seen clips of it, which is, what it is. Portals is one of those games that have a lot of interest in and would probably really like. Bought both games on Steam and have never touched it.
I think you would like them. It does seem like the kind of game that'd be right up your alley.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
Speaking of games, I got Doom from 2016.
Oh, really?
Hey, welcome to the Legend of Doom.
Yes, I was like, it's just like everyone was telling me I should play this game, and I was like, all right, fine, and I got it. And I was like, I don't really like heavy metal that much, but people talk about how great the heavy metal is in this game, but I'll believe it when I see it. And it's like the very opening of the game, it's like you like wake up and go out, like you're putting on your suit, and like this guy's like clearly like some kind of villain is like explaining his motives to you, and like we can help each other out. And then it's like the Doom guy just like punches the monitor, and then like heavy metal music starts playing, you start killing demons, and I'm like, all right, yeah, this game's awesome.
It's a great game.
You got it on PC?
Yeah.
I figured. Because I was thinking, like, he either got it on PC or Switch. He definitely got it on PC.
Yeah, yes, I mean, I got Doom to take a break from Fire Emblem.
Did you, like, beat it a second time?
No, I started the Blue Lines route.
Yeah.
I'm like halfway through the first half, I think.
So a quarter.
Yes, but I mean it's kind of like the game is like pretty distinctly separated into two halves, so like it's easier to kind of think of it in halves of halves.
I like don't.
And it's Half-Life, if you will.
I haven't had enough time to like play it to like long enough to make any meaningful progress. Tyler, you know when I've last played it because you know when I stopped talking about it to you.
Which route did you choose?
I picked Blue Lions first, and that's the one that I'm still on. I'm not very far in yet.
Okay.
Tom, if I can give you a spoiler-free tip. Recruit Lysithea. Put all of your efforts into recruiting Lysithea because she is one of the most busted units I've ever seen in a Fire Emblem game.
I'm tempted to not do that, but we'll see.
No, she's great. Also, I think like she's one of like a rare instance where you can actually recruit her post time skip. That's what my friend said that he did. He fought her, and when he defeated her, he like had this option to spare her, and when he did, she like joined him afterwards. So
I'll believe that when I see it, but that sounds interesting.
Yeah. In any case, Lysithea is great. Fire Emblem Three Houses is great. It's a good Fire Emblem game. I hope they make a harder difficulty. Because that's my one complaint is that it's easy.
Did the hard one already?
I'm playing hard mode right now, and it's like normal. Like normal mode is easy mode, hard mode is normal. So I'm figuring Lunatic will be pretty fun.
Wouldn't easy mode then be the hardest mode? So it goes in like a cycle.
It's so easy that it becomes hard.
Yeah.
It's so scary that people forget that it doesn't look good.
That's an interesting question. What would you have to do to a game to make it so easy that it's difficult?
I think Rock Band did it. In Rock Band, they have a
beginner mode.
Yeah, beginner mode, where it's just like, imagine Guitar Hero. You know, like you press a note and then you strum at the same time. Well, in beginner mode, you just strum and you can pick any note you want. And it may sound very easy, but it quickly gets so incredibly boring that you want to do literally anything else but stand there holding a plastic guitar, strumming up and down 1 beat per measure. So I would say that is the definition of so easy it's hard.
Yeah, like it has to be like mentally difficult, like that you can't possibly stand continuing to play the game.
Yeah. Like, have you ever beaten watching paint dry?
It's a tough game.
Not many have lived to tell the tale. Speaking of other games, Pokemon announced they have a Galarian, like that region's version of Weezing, like an alternate form of Weezing, and it like
Dimmadome.
Oh yeah, I think I heard of it.
It's like
you texted it.
It's super busted, like competitively. Like, its typing, it only has, like, 2 weaknesses and, like, 6 or 7 resistances. If you give it Levitate, it also, like, one of its abilities would make it immune to ground type. And one of its other abilities, which is new, which just got announced today, allows it to just, like, negate all other abilities.
What?
Beautiful.
It just, like, and it showed, like, they showed footage, it's not, like, they showed, like, a double battle footage, and it's not just your opponent's abilities, it even negates your ally's ability. Like, it literally just clears the playing field and just negates all abilities. Which
That's interesting.
You can
basically takes it back to Gen 2.
I like that.
Of course, then the design is what I've seen the most of. I've seen people do, like, edits where if they like replace like a picture of like a dude like sticking a bong in his mouth with the wheezing.
Yeah,
because it's got a big top hat that looks like a factory chimney.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those memes. I think there was a gaming journalism website, I think Polygon, that wrote an article about the fact that people were calling it a bong.
What do
Games journalism at its finest.
What do the fans think of it? Do they think it's going to be a good game or not?
No.
That's a complicated question. There are some that do and some that don't. And yeah. It's like probably the most divisive Pokemon game to ever be released from
what I've heard said is at E3 this year, the Pokemon and Fire Emblem fan bases switched.
Yeah. Except
like the Fire Emblem fan base was like we love our franchise, it's so great, and then all the Pokemon fans are like bitching constantly about every decision the studio makes.
That's a shame because I was actually probably going to get a Switch and I was looking for.
Well, I think it's still going to be a good game.
I think it's still going to be a good game. I would recommend. At this point, I would recommend it. Its E3 showing honestly was really poor. Like because everyone was super hyped for that game until E3, so they kind of. Their presentation of it also like had a couple like the game had glitches in their E3 presentation, which didn't help. But it also
questionable decision.
There's been a bunch of infighting among the Pokemon community on social media. It's like died down some, but the people who really don't like it still really don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
They'll just reboot the franchise in like 3 years and make it a dating sim between Pokemon.
The daycare, just the daycare version.
Yeah, you are the daycare lady.
Oh my god.
I could
Just
see that.
ship all day.
I could see that.
Pokemon Daycare.
I could see them making a mobile game out of that.
Ditto would be so top tier. It'd be so stupid. Ditto is literally the sex slave Pokemon. I think Tyler. I'm quoting Tyler from that.
Ditto's banned to Ubers.
Seriously?
No. I'm saying like if there was a dating game, Ditto would be banned.
Oh, okay.
I just figured out how they could do it. They could cross it over with Pokemon Go if it was a mobile game where you could select Pokemon and take them for like a walk.
That already exists.
Yeah, but like
Not past.
more so. Yeah.
Like I think it exists like with Pokemon Home. Like they're bringing it back.
I still can't believe people are playing Pokemon Go. That one just.
It's like it's actually got pretty. It got like. So it was already really. It got really big when it first came out, and then it died off, and it actually like got pretty big again.
Full disclosure, I play all the time.
I haven't played it. I deleted it off my phone a month ago.
They're up to Gen 4, which is my favorite. I have a Glaceon. It's my second best Pokemon. That's pretty high. But you'll see, like, all of my cousins play it, and every once in a while, I remember I was walking back to our apartment in State College, and I noticed the gym, which is the church right by our apartment, was under attack, and I was like, oh, I'll join in on this, because it wasn't, Team Instinct, gang, and I saw, like, 3 people standing in a circle looking at their phones together.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I'm just gonna nope out of this situation.
There's a couple guys at work that play Pokemon Go, and there'll be like one point where they like one time every day, the one guy will just walk into our office, and like me and my office mate will be having a conversation. We'll stop and he'll be like, "It's Pokemon time," and we'll just sit down and start trading Pokemon with each other.
It's Pokemon time. Is there a cooler expression that has ever been said?
Probably.
I've been having a great time at work. I feel like every week I've been having a whole new adventure. Like, for instance, right now, I used to have a cubicle and a cubicle mate, but now, like, me and, like, 3 other guys moved to, like, our own room with, like, pretty much everyone on our team moved to the same room.
We like a shared office.
Yeah, exactly. We work 5 feet of each other. And with that has come a whole slew of hijinks. So one day, I come into my desk, and someone stole one of my Post-it notes, wrote a message on it, and then put it on my computer screen that said, "You are a big fat phony." And I was livid. I was determined to figure out who did this, because it only could have been a handful of people. So I go around and I ask like the people who I thought it would have been, and it's like it's none of them. So it's like, oh, now I need to make this an investigation. So I started analyzing the handwriting. I wrote it on the whiteboard with like the exact message and did all this analysis stuff. The next day, at this point, people were just thinking like, haha, there's Dan trying to figure out who did it. And I think everyone knew at this point, and they just wouldn't tell me. But anyways, the next day, I go hard. So I print out, first, I take pictures of the Post-it note, pictures of other people's handwriting, print them out on large screen, like black and white, get newspaper clippings, just random newspaper clippings, and like a whole bunch of other stuff, and just start taping it on my wall with like the tacks and like the red string connecting everything together, trying to figure out, piece together who could have possibly wrote this. And then I also, there's the backtracking. The events that I just described are all Monday going into Tuesday. On Tuesday, we had a blood drive at our work. And so I actually did donate blood for the first time. Got that O positive, the good stuff.
No.
Anyways, I donated blood. What do you mean no?
I'm just saying no to the idea of giving blood.
Oh. Anyway, yeah. Some lucky soul out there has my blood now. But anyways, that's not the point. The point is, I got myself a get well card. And then I just went around the room asking people to sign it to get handwriting samples. And of course, they were suspicious of me right away, to the point where half of them wrote, "You are a big fat phony," purposely. And the thing that gave it away all along was, at first, I was looking at the handwriting, and the thing that distinguished it from most was, "You are a big fat phony." There was a G and a Y in there, and they had loops for the holes in the G and the Y. You know what I mean? Like, they wrote it with loops at the bottom.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's what I was looking out for. And because of that, everyone signed the card with loops, which made it confusing. But there's one other letter of the alphabet, which luckily they didn't touch, that I was able to decipher, was the letter P. So if you were to write the letter P, you would obviously write it with the stem and then the circle. But there was only one person who signed it and made it more like a row shape, where it was all one motion. And I accused that man of writing the post-it note. And then, here's the best part. I had in my possession a jar of pasta sauce that I thought was the original.
Wait, what?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Where'd it go?
Earlier that week.
Why'd you have a jar of pasta sauce?
Earlier that week, I went to the grocery store and I saw that pasta sauce was on sale. Little to my knowledge, that it was actually like tomato and garlic and onion pasta sauce, which sounds fine on paper. Like, I put garlic powder in it anyway, and tomatoes are fine. But I hated the taste of it. So now I have this whole jar of pasta sauce that I need to give away. Because I bought 2 jars. And I threw away the first one because I hated it. So then the second jar, I just have this jar of pasta sauce, and I need to get rid of it. And it's not like people are just, you can't just give someone a jar of pasta sauce on the street like, "Hey, you want some tomato, garlic, and onion pasta sauce?" It doesn't work like that. So I decided the perfect way to get rid of this thing would be to hand it off to whoever wrote "You are a big fat phony" on my computer screen. So that day, when now it's Wednesday, I accused the man of stealing the jar of my post-it note. And at this point, literally everyone I work with was in the room for this entire thing and just really confused about what's going on, including my manager, who has been very, I don't want to say supportive of my actions, but definitely tolerant of them. With the amount of manpower I'm wasting every week, but it's all for a team building exercise, I think you could say. Anyway, I hand him the pasta sauce. Everyone around the room is just literally so confused why I gave pasta sauce. It made no sense. Like, I didn't even say anything. Like, "I know you did it. Here's the pasta sauce." And I was like, "Okay, well, Dan, okay." So then immediately after that, another guy walks in the room who I also know, and he's like, "Oh, you figured out who wrote the note?" And I was like, "Yep." And I handed him the pasta sauce, and guess what I said after I handed it to him? And he's like, "Did you say you got caught red-handed?" And I was so mad, because that is literally the best thing that I could have ever said in my life. Like, I could have died on the spot there if I had said that, and I would have.
It's like from Seinfeld, the jerk store.
They literally mentioned that. They literally mentioned that. Like, quoted that exact episode after that happened.
Dan, that was a wild story from start to finish.
Yes, it was.
And then since then, there have been many imposters, and I have just dismissed them because I did the groundbreaking case and any of the other, what's the word? Copycat killers?
Yeah, I was about to say it's like copycat murderers.
Was that the actual guy that wrote it though?
Well, not the. I got the right guy. He confessed after I gave him indisputable evidence.
And pasta sauce.
Yes. And pasta. He didn't even want it. He gave it back to me. So now I'm still stuck with the pasta. That's the worst part of the story. I still have the stupid pasta sauce.
You know what's weird?
Just besides that story?
Yeah, besides that story. So like you, Dan, and you, Tyler, you've been talking about a lot of your coworkers, and they seem like pretty nerdy people, which I guess you would kind of expect in an engineering position around our age. But it's also like a business, and you wouldn't expect that. I've started doing things with my cohort at grad school, and I expect a bunch of grad students in science to be pretty nerdy. No, they're like the most normal people I've ever laid eyes upon so far. Granted, I don't know them all that well, but like, I don't know what I was expecting, and my preconceptions have been blown out of the water.
What, do they go to like baseball games and talk about car trouble and having kids?
I don't know. Like, granted, the B&B department at Penn State was kind of full of people who you wouldn't expect to be biochemists, like fuckboys.
You guys were a bunch of fucking chads. I was talking about that at work the other day. I was like, you would never think that this is like the science department, just with like these people that my roommate was friends with.
It was bizarre, and I guess that transfers to grad school too. And you think there's a filter there, like people who bother going to school for an extra 5 years would have to really care. And I guess they care. It's just weird that they're outwardly.
Yeah, it's people like that always kind of, I don't say confuse me. Like, there's obviously, like whatever you're interested in is fine, but like there are like those people that like all they do is like go home. Like it's like they go home and like curl up in a ball. They curl up in a ball and like read sports statistics.
Honestly, it kind of sounds like me sometimes, especially going into football season.
Yeah, but like that's the thing, Tom, is like you're seasonal about it. Like, it's like football you're all into, and like I think other sports you like, but probably not as much as football. Whereas these people, it's just like you could ask them like, like how many triple doubles does this obscure basketball player that most people have never heard of before had? And then, like he'll just know it off the top of his head. And it's like you can do that for like any sport, and they'll just name like they'll know. And it's like these are the kind of people that get hired by ESPN to like come up with statistics.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't know that many statistics like off the top of my head though.
Right, and you do other stuff.
Yeah.
Other stuff to talk about than just like sports. Like there's some people like, especially people I worked at the Kennedy Space Center. It was like you would just like, I assume these people just did nothing when they were home. I really didn't understand it.
It's weird because like there's stuff to do in Florida, in that part of Florida.
Yeah, but like there's still stuff to do. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's stuff to do in that part of Florida because that was near Orlando, wasn't it?
Yeah, relatively close, about 45-ish minutes from Orlando.
So it's not like they were like in like Arkansas or something.
It's true.
Apologies to any viewers in Arkansas if you exist.
Okay, we don't have any.
I have no apologies to Arkansas.
Arkansas.
This is my hot take.
Yeah. What do you mean Arkansas?
I don't know why, but the bros who have all the sports statistics on hand remind me of this guy I met earlier today. So the Lehigh gym is pretty much down for the summer. Its hours are just really weird, so there's no point trying to use it. So I walked into town and went to this one gym, and the guy running it is like a 24-year-old giant. I've never seen someone as massive as this man. He's like 6'5" at least, and just like wearing a cutoff, running the thing. It's clearly like a house that was converted into a gym. And it was just so weird. And he's like working out with some of the other people, other like patrons and clients. And they're talking about fantasy football. And it was just so weird. Like I walked in and I was like, how do I sign up? And he's like, be with you in a minute, bro.
So it was like the most I run a gym comment, like introduction.
Yeah.
He's like, you just see him like shoot something into his arm.
How can I help you now?
His muscles swell up like the one dude from that anime this season.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the weightlifting anime.
Yep. There's literally a whole.
I know about it. I know about it.
Unironically, the best anime that's airing this season, I think.
I don't know. Demon Slayer is pretty good.
Yeah, no, that started last season though, so like.
I guess technically.
Dan, you still alive over there?
I'm here.
He's recovering after telling the pasta sauce story.
Yeah.
I think he's like recovering after listening to us talk about anime.
No, that's not true. I had a sports comment, and I was trying to think of when to put that in, and then we shift the conversation to something else, and I was trying to figure out a way to shift another story in there, And then we
Well,
changed
no
subjects
story,
again, and I was
yeah.
like, okay, I'm just gonna
Well,
wait it out.
well, now we've shifted back to sports, so lay it on us.
Sports comment.
Now very topical. I was just gonna say everyone at my work is talking about fantasy football, and I don't want to do fantasy football. So
I am in the exact same boat. They asked me if I wanted to do it, and I was like, I don't know. And then there was like some discussion, like, man, our league's like a really awkward size. If we've got like 2 maybes, and there's like if they say yes, there's gonna be 14 people, and I was like, how about this? I'll change my maybe to a no.
is your dad still making you do one?
I think my family might be doing one. They haven't really asked me about it, so I'm not sure.
I want you to keep doing it and then like actually win, like just by like just picking out random names.
Who is this Saquon Barkley? Is he any good?
Oh yeah, apparently he's gonna be like one of the first or second round pick.
People are predicting he should be the number 1 overall pick, which I agree with. And here's my sports lingo coming out.
How many triple doubles has Saquon Barkley had?
0. Really disappointing in that category.
See, this guy knows every random statistic out
But he's on a terrible team. He's the best player on that team, and their quarterback is either going to be an unranked rookie or Eli Manning, who's decrepit. So he's going to get a lot of snaps. So he'll get you fantasy points by sheer volume and just being good. So.
Well, yeah, and they don't. Golden Tate lost his appeal for his suspension, so he's suspended for the first quarter of the season. Which is hilarious that the Giants got, the Eagles didn't re-sign him, and then the Giants got him, and the Eagles are laughing their asses off because they had him and then probably knew that he was about to get suspended and didn't re-sign him.
Is Golden Tate a name?
Yeah.
Yes.
That can't be right.
Warriors. He was banned for using a women's fertility drug.
Wait,
seriously?
Yeah. I don't remember. I've been following the story kind of loosely because I just think it's hilarious that nothing works out for the Giants. And,
it is. It's pretty funny.
And he was banned for using a women's fertility drug because it hasn't been approved by the FDA, but apparently the doctor who prescribed it to him says it can boost your testosterone, which I find very weird.
Isn't that
it's a women's fertility drug that boosts testosterone of all
That
things?
That doctor was lying.
That does not make sense.
Yeah, I mean, women do have testosterone, but you gotta.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't know. It's
that.
No, I'm no scientist, but
Wait a minute. Does that mean the more fertile a woman is, the more masculine they are?
No.
I was gonna say
if you had more testosterone, then you would be less fertile. But I don't know. I don't know anything about it, so it's not really. I guess I'm the wrong person to discuss it.
I mean, there are much easier ways to raise your testosterone.
Yeah.
Name one.
Masturbation.
I didn't want to say it, but there we go.
Is that true?
Yes.
Really?
Dan, don't get any bread ideas.
I've never known this fact, but I'm about to put it to good use.
Dan shows up at work with a full beard and one huge arm.
One huge arm. And extremely fertile.
hey, after he lost his appeal, I think the funniest thing is that he was like, well, the doctor prescribed it to other NFL athletes too, and then just didn't comment on it. I just find that funny. He was like, well, he rose a stink about it and pointed the finger at other people as soon as he got banned for it.
Yeah, it's they didn't get suspended for using performance. I love it. It's considered him using performance enhancing drugs, and it's
how can he argue that it's not that? Why else, Golden Tate, were you taking a women's fertility drug?
What if it's a woman?
Oh wow.
Oh man.
The plot thickens.
That'd be good. That'd be a good story.
Thomas, you got to learn to sit still. Your computer balloon is going crazy.
I'm sorry.
That can be taken out in post.
Can it?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll just take Thomas out.
Oh.
I mean, technically, it might be if you used like a gate.
Yeah, I don't have a gate.
Well,
What kind of gate?
Noise gate. There's probably one on whatever program you're using to edit this.
Noise gate. What kind of scandal is that? We had
It's
this conversation 2 weeks ago.
it's the one against Beethoven.
Mozart could actually hear. He wasn't deaf.
Yeah.
I thought Beethoven was deaf. Or is it both of them?
Mozart was not deaf.
Oh, darn it.
Beethoven was deaf.
Just goes to show you. I even saw Mozart's house, and I don't know that.
Isn't there a brand of crayons named Mozart?
I don't know.
It's not Crayola. It's like they're like the shitty like Hunt's ketchup of crayons.
Oh, man. I hate Hunt's ketchup so much. I hate how like ketchup what am I trying to say? Ketchup is literally a food that I'm just gonna stop there. I can't.
I was talking about we were talking about condiments at work the other day. It is so weird to me how like almost every single condiment has this kind of like this like I want to say like craft to it. For instance, you've got barbecue sauce is like the prime example. How there's thousands of kinds of barbecue sauce. Each one tastes a little bit different, and all these companies make these like different like craft barbecue sauces that you would use to like barbecue chicken and all that. And then you've got like to like a lesser extent, you got like mayo or not like mayo and mustard. Like there's like like honey Dijon or regular mustard. Like all the spicy mustard. With mayo, you've got like regular and Miracle Whip. So you've got all these different types. And then there's ketchup. It's just ketchup. And even then, there's one brand of it. You get Heinz ketchup or else it sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone agrees on this. And it's so weird to me that it's the only condiment that is like that.
You know what the even crazier part is? I've been following the stock market a little bit since after college. And Kraft Heinz is actually like one of the most failing companies that is like, for as popular as it is, like they have the monopoly on ketchup. Like it's Kraft and Heinz rolled into one stock because it's a merger or whatever. And Kraft owns like half the foods at a grocery store, and yet they're one of the most like failing stock tickers or whatever out there. And I just don't understand.
Huh.
Wait, so that you're saying that Heinz is like super
as a company,
down?
Yeah, as a company.
Now, are you sure the stock market took a hit the other day?
It's been the past 2 years.
Oh. Well,
Okay.
yeah, the stock market.
Over the past 2 years, they've been on a steady decline, and they have no signs of stopping. Except for the fact that I literally don't know where anyone else would get their ketchup.
Oh my god.
Thomas just found the stock.
There's a point in this past February where they dropped like $15 in like the span, like within the span of one day.
To put it in perspective, their price right now is like $30, so that's like
it's 25 right now.
Yeah, and you keep thinking like buy low, sell high, but like it's just been steadily going down. It's never picked up
since
in the past
like
2 years.
February 2017.
Yeah, it's actually crazy. And it's like a stock specifically that Warren Buffett, like 2 years ago, said was going to be on the rise and has since like gone completely down.
What? I'm so confused. Like, because it's Heinz, Kraft Heinz. So Kraft, which already is like a big
Kraft
company.
Singles.
It's just a big.
No, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And then you got Heinz, that is like
the only ketchup producer, pretty much.
It's the only edible ketchup brand, and this isn't.
It's bad.
What?
You know what stock is doing really like incredibly well despite the stock market downturn?
What?
Starbucks.
Oh, Starbucks. Man.
Yeah,
the more people,
over the course of
lose
this
their job.
summer, it's like doubled in value, which is really nice. Which is really nice because I got like 5 shares in the company as an employee.
Yeah,
Like
I've been listening to episode 4 of the podcast recently because I've been editing it, and then you said the same thing then. Not that I'm saying it's bad that you're repeating it. I'm just saying I think it's funny that a lot of the times I get to hear the same thing twice.
Dan, this is Dan's way of saying don't repeat yourself.
No, I'm completely fine with repeating people themselves. Like, to put in perspective, I occasionally listen to the Rooster Teeth podcast still, like whenever I go on long car drives, and it's my favorite thing about long car drives is that podcast. And even yet the same, like they'll just be repeating stories. Like, for instance,
Bernie.
Yeah, exactly. I love Bernie. Bernie's my favorite person I think in the world, but that's besides the point. The other point is, you were talking about Star Wars earlier. I was literally thinking about how Bernie, in like 2 podcasts ago, mentions the one fact about Star Wars. Tyler, do you know what it is?
No, I haven't listened to
that
the
Bernie
podcast
Burns
in a
is
while.
one of his biggest misconceptions is that the Force he thought was something energy, like physical energy manifested into a lightsaber. That's it. Lightsabers are the physical manifestation of the Force. That's what he thought it was, and then it's just not. And he talks about that, like, I swear, I don't know how many podcasts, but I love repeating stories just because, like, I don't know, it adds to, like, your memory and, like, brings you back to fond memories.
That kind of reminds me of something. You guys know what the Mandela effect is?
Yeah. That sounds familiar.
I knew about it.
I've heard of it, but I don't remember what it is.
It's this idea of like group misconceptions. Like multiple people have this. Like, for instance, the reason it's called the Mandela effect is because multiple people had this thought that they thought that Nelson Mandela died back in like the 70s or 80s or so, and he like when it was the term was coined, he was still alive, and that was just a lot of people had this misconception. And so it's kind of just like a term for like common misconceptions that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
But like some of it is like Nelson Mandela dying. It's like, how does that become a common misconception? It's stuff like that's very strange. But like that started making me think about some common misconceptions, or like maybe not common, but misconceptions I've had that I have absolutely no idea how they got in my head. And 2 right off the top of my head. One is that for years, up until like last summer, I thought that other countries had been to the moon other than the United States. I don't know where I heard that. I thought China had been there. I thought Russia.
I definitely heard China has.
And yeah, it's like where?
Yeah, I thought China and Russia have been there.
They are not. No, that's completely false. So I guess that is like a Mandela effect thing. If we're all thinking that.
Wait.
Maybe the Mandela effect is that they didn't go to the moon.
So has the United States still the only country that's been to the moon?
Yes.
How?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Because once you've been there, no one cares.
No. No one wanted to be the second country to be to the moon?
No.
So
it's not worth the investment. It's a huge undertaking to send people to the moon.
It created jobs.
What did India just do? Didn't they send a shuttle to the moon, or was that just unmanned?
They probably sent a probe.
Oh.
There have been probes to the moon since then.
I guess that could be.
The other misconception I had was that the European Space Agency, I thought they had a space shuttle. I thought they had built it wasn't as big as the American space shuttle, but it was something similar. Like, it looked vaguely similar, kind of like a glider. And I thought I saw pictures of this, and I thought it was like a thing. It's not a thing at all. I don't know where I got that idea from.
Huh.
All right, there's the fucking spaceship again.
Speaking of spaceships.
Okay, I think I actually know what it is. I think it's my computer's fan.
Oh.
I don't know. Like, that's kind of without a fan to be heard by itself.
Okay, this isn't me.
If it's me, just mute me.
No, we can't mute it. That's censorship.
I'll mute myself.
No, you can't. That's censorship. Okay, now we can talk about Nick behind his back.
I think he can still hear us. We just can't hear him.
Well, he can't
retard. I was telling you about this time I was in a party with my cousin and his friends.
Go on. No, I didn't hear the story. What are you gonna
No, never mind.
say? You see, audience, the joke is that he was going to say the same story from earlier in this podcast and from the first podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes the joke is when you explain it.
The joke is that Tyler has friends.
Do I?
Ouch.
It's kind of funny because, like, I have not really made any friends. This can sound real depressing. I have not made, like, any friends, like, outside of work since I moved here. Like, I don't know anyone. Like, if I'm gonna hang out with someone, it's, like, either my coworker, Cameron, or Channing, who moved out here. And it's, like, that's it. But at the same time, like, I'm, like, on the internet, though, it's, like, a completely different story. Like, I'm just, like, I'll send some friend requests to these people, and they accept it. And we just, like, start, like, a private message. And it's, like, I don't understand when my life got to that point where, like, I can be this, like, social butterfly on the internet, and then in real life, I just, like, yeah, I just kind of, like, stay at home on the weekends and drink.
Kind of do my own thing.
I mean, that's, I think, kind of a common thing for, like, people now, especially in our generation. I guess we're done with this conversation then.
Yeah, it was a good talk.
Kind of died off there. Yeah.
I will say, even though I've only been like living by myself.
Oh my god, mute him. Someone mute him.
All right. Is it bad? I can't even hear my phone.
No,
It's fine now.
it's overreacting.
Yeah, I'm overreacting.
Okay. Yeah, I've only been living by myself for like 4 days, and it's pretty rough. Well, it's only rough if I expect to be doing something.
You know what the secret is, Nick?
Huh.
You just need to live with 13 other versions of yourself.
That's true.
And listen up, because season 2 of Living with Myself is coming spring of 2020.
Spring?
Spring? Is that when you started last year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it takes a while, so I guess that's understandable.
Yeah, I haven't even started filming yet, but I don't plan to until December-ish.
Does so are you still planning on doing a video every Friday?
Yeah, that's the plan. Right now I'm 2 weeks ahead, but I need to get to the point where I'm 14 weeks ahead because it's gonna be a 40. So I've got a lot of work cut out.
Yeah, no, I'm in a similar situation with like my translations. Like I was doing them like every other week, and then.
You mean like learning Japanese?
Yeah, I've been translating a 3-volume fan comic, like fan-made comic. It's like they put the characters in like a fantasy setting.
Is this like really a volunteer thing?
Yeah, I just did it. I bought the. I wound up having to buy the Chinese versions of the comic, even though it's in Japanese. So then I have to. When they're in Chinese, I send them to a couple of guys I know from Taiwan, who will translate translate it from Chinese to English, and then I put it like blank out all the voice bubbles and put in the English translations. But like I just had this moment. I was realizing I was falling behind, and it was like kind of similar. I was like, I just want to be ahead of it. So like for like basically all day today, I've just been like working on like the next chapter of this thing. Like I already have one to post tomorrow, and I'm probably going to be able at this point to post one next week as well, even though I've been doing it every other week. I feel really good about that. But so I know what you mean, where it's like it just feels good to be like on top of your posting schedule.
I also know what you mean because I've tried to do a lot of like upload schedules for SoundCloud for like stuff I've worked on.
Oh my god! I just remember I need to upload the podcast. Well, I guess at any point I can, but like we can once we have 6 episodes. I think this is episode 5, maybe 6.
I feel like it's been more than. I feel like it's been at least 6.
Because the one with Owen was episode 4, and that was 2 or 3.
Then this would be 6.
Okay, I forget.
Because I wasn't at the one after Owen, and then we didn't do the one last week, so this would be episode 6.
Okay, cool.
But with like the first time I decided to do like SoundCloud uploads, I was like, all right, I can do 2 like one every 2 weeks, it'll be fine. And like, it totally wasn't fine because, or no, it was every week. I wanted to do one every week, and I like just kind of didn't have the patience for it at the time. And like, there's a point where I uploaded like 3 or 4 things all within 4 days of each other, and then I'd like just ran out of material.
What are you uploading? Your own music?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it was really bad because it was like 3 years ago, and I didn't really know what I was doing.
I still need to put together my album of Thomas Do Your Homework and the
You
EP.
do. But then like the year after I decided to do like tri-weekly uploads, and I actually stuck. That was like between sophomore and junior year, and I actually stuck to it, and it went really well. And I mused, but I only did it for the summer. As soon as the school year started, it completely fell off. But I've mused about like monthly uploads like right now, and I started like I had one in late April for May, and I uploaded again in June, and I don't think I uploaded in July, and I just kind of like I was going to do it, and then I just kind of didn't get around to it. But my problem is like never having like a backlog. I'm always like, how do I get to the next one before I run out of time?
Interesting. Well, on a side note, at work today, my buddy Brad and I, we figured out the next big thing to come into fashion.
What?
Okay.
All right. So the next big thing to come into fashion is the crop top, right?
Yeah.
But it's a button down. It's a button down crop top
Those already exist.
Really? Well,
I'm pretty sure those already exist.
All right, then go
I hope
find
they don't
one.
exist.
Because I haven't seen one.
I mean, even if they exist, they might not be in style. There's a distinction
Exactly.
there.
See what
Is
they
like the bare midriff exposed?
Yes.
No one wants to see that.
For men.
For anyone.
What you need is you need 2 different styles. One with a almost like an elastic band that keeps it like tight and form fitting, and another style where it doesn't have the band, so it's loose and flowy. And then you need to have the same. You start off with just either.
So you mean like a flannel crop top? Like something that's like a button down, like a dressy button down shirt, so it's like half a shirt but loose.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. I don't think that's a thing.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like you have the flannel style, but then it's the same thing, but instead of being flannel, it's just a solid color. And then you also have, for the summer times, the Hawaiian style.
I just imagine a Hawaiian crop top button down. That's disgusting. Oh my god. Cruises would be ruined.
Gardaki.
What?
Philip Gardaki?
This isn't for you. This is for Spring.
Oh, well.
Philip Alexander Gardaki?
Yeah, yes, Alex. Same thing.
Yeah, I'll decide whether or not I want to censor that. But go on.
Yeah, but he always wore Hawaiian shirts. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
He always wore fedora and Hawaiian shirts. It was like his thing, and I had mad respect for that.
He did it before it was popular. And that's going to wrap it up for this week's podcast. Thank you all for sticking in.
Wait, hold on. I wanted if this is towards the end,
yeah.
Now time-honored tradition, an Ask Reddit question.
Perfect.
Let's talk about it real quick. Okay, so here's one of the top posts on Ask Reddit right now. What could have been awesome if people hadn't ruined it? Something that exists. Vine?
To me, Vine was always awesome, but I get the sentiment.
Oh, I mean, it's dead now, so...
I would say TikTok, because TikTok is just Vine, but people ruined it.
Yeah, I could see that. Here's a real interesting one from the thread, because I don't have original thoughts. Climbing Mount Everest, because
that's a good
there's
one,
so many people that do that now.
Yeah.
There's an entire John Oliver segment about that. We've talked about it.
I watched that one.
We've talked about it. Dan, didn't you? You did
I linked it to the group, yeah, and then no one said anything. I was like, oh, I guess no one.
Yeah, but didn't we talk about? Wait.
We never talked.
Yeah, no, you.
I thought we.
You did it. You have a picture of you at the summit.
I did summit. I was the first. Man, I need to read up on my own lore sometimes, man. Forgot about that. It's such a. It's literally like, what was it? The website? It's literally, climbmounteverest.com or something.
Wait, hold on a sec. Real interesting. I want to look into this. One interesting response is that robot who was hitchhiking everywhere.
Yeah.
Apparently, they released him in Pennsylvania, and
he got destroyed or something.
Wow, good job, Pennsylvania.
That really.
It was his first visit to the States, and we broke him.
I think it was Philadelphia specifically.
Yeah.
Good job.
Speaking of Philly, there was a shooting. And with that, we're going to wrap up the podcast.
No, that shooting,
Well,
I heard about it the other day, and I was actually really interested that it was not like a typical shooting that we hear about nowadays in the news, because it was like, there was like not like an okay motive, but like, at least like, it's like a rational motive for the person involved, because his house was being... The guy's house was, from what I heard, that guy's house was being searched for drugs by the cops, and he freaked out. And so maybe not rational, but like it's better than an act of senseless violence. Like he just panicked and took the cops hostage.
It sounds like the definition of an act of senseless violence.
And he also had a criminal.
I agree with you.
It wasn't that he just decided, fuck it, and decided to go shoot up an elementary school. Like, this was like the cops were in his home searching for drugs, and there were drugs in his home, and he knew that, so he didn't want to go to jail.
That explains why you talk about like cops getting injured, not people.
Well, like, he took a bunch of cops hostage.
He took 2 cops hostage.
So he took a bunch of cops hostage.
Yeah, and he injured 6 more, but no one died. And that's the other thing that's notable, is that no one died.
Yeah.
Maybe
guns are good.
Wait, no.
He actually didn't have any video games in the house, which is why no one died.
Well, speaking of guns, I am now a owner of a yeet cannon.
You got the yeet cannon?
I got the yeet cannon.
Why didn't you start off with this?
Well, you kept interrupting me.
Okay, fair enough.
So that'll be arriving on Monday. So
we'll be sure to talk more about it next week on the podcast.
Oh, next Friday. Never mind. We'll get there.
And that's it from us. I'm Dan, and everyone else is them. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.